Chair. During this hearing, we've been talking about generalised problems, but they are particularly manifest in local areas, as we've heard. And Birmingham was named earlier this year as the 5th hardest area of the country to get a driving test. Could you talk through what steps you take to monitor those particular hotspot areas, acknowledging that there's a problem across the whole country, but where there are particular local pressures, what measures are taken to identify and, if possible, redeploy resources to address those very specific hotspot areas?
You're probably best placed to.
Yeah, clearly we monitor the wait times at every single driving test centre that we have, and there is a degree of national variation, as I've said. That demand signal, if you like, is made a little bit more difficult, and I'm sure we'll talk about the effect of the booking cancellation apps later. But where a test is booked is not necessarily an indication of where it will eventually be taken. So just for example, if I looked at Dumfries in Scotland, they conducted just over 1,700 tests, but they had 23,000 cancellations. So this is the phenomenon of booking a test one place and actually wanting to take it somewhere else. What that means is it's actually quite difficult for us to do workforce planning and to recruit and retain examiners in the right places. But notwithstanding that, we look at demand every week. Our figures are updated and look at what the wait times are. And then certainly in periods where we have not had wait times uniformly high across the country, to the extent that they are now, we have tried to get people to move from one location to another, so offer them incentive to go down to London, and the South East particularly is where we've been short. At one point we were moving between 60 and 80 people would come down on a weekly basis to take tests in different parts of the country. I have to say we don't do so much of that now because there is an opportunity to get high wait times down in places which are more easily travelable. And the cluster contracts that were mentioned in the previous session is also a means that we have had by which we can get some flexibility to move people from a centre that maybe hasn't got a high wait time to one that has, and go with the demand. So it's every, this is the job of the manager, moving people around to try to get wait times as uniform as we can.